by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself anymore. New matches have been added to this year's WrestleMania. A former WWE superstar has said that WWE sucks the fun out of wrestling. And which WWE superstar is getting their old theme music back? I'll tell you in a bit. So we're kicking things off with the news of 2 new match additions to this year's historic 2-day WrestleMania, emanating, of course, from the Performance Center in front of nobody. Right, first off, let's talk about the SmackDown Women's title. So, Bayley and Sasha come to the ring last night. They have a bit of a verbal sparring, I guess, with Paige via Skype, which was a little bit awkward because lag and all that. I think it might have even been a pre-record. I couldn't quite work it out. Anyway, a match is made by Paige, who is apparently still the authority figure on SmackDown. I don't know how it works. Right, Paige makes a match for WrestleMania. Bayley defending her SmackDown Women's title in a 6-pack challenge against the following: Dana Brooke, nice. Naomi, nice. Lacey Evans, nice. Tamina, also there. And Bayley's BFF, she's in the ring as this match is being made. Sasha Banks is going to be a part of that match. An interesting match. It had previously been reported that they were looking at doing a 6-pack challenge. Alex McCarthy of TalkSport reporting that a couple of weeks ago. So it's good to see that that has been confirmed. One name that's missing that was originally scheduled to be a part of this is Carmella. Not especially sure why that's happened. Maybe Carmella is going to be doing something after WrestleMania with the eventual winner. Who knows? She could be the first opponent for whoever wins that. You've got to believe out of those lot that it's Sasha who's going to be in with the best chance. Will Sasha steal a win and, you know, more tension between the two, I guess, then former BFFs. But also Tamina's in the match. And when the Tamina train pulls into town, well, you never know what's going to happen. Also, another match which hasn't really been made official, but is definitely going to happen. Sort of made by Gronk, Rob Gronkowski, at the beginning of SmackDown yesterday. So he comes to the ring. It's really weird because nobody's there. And he's dancing, like his feet are going out. Oh, barefoot, that's for you. Should have to pay for that, really. But so he comes to the ring, he's dancing all the way to the ring, and he has a bit of fun with Mojo. And then out comes Baron Corbin to ruin everyone's fun, because that's what he does. And after a little while, out comes Elias as well. And eventually, Rob Gronkowski says, okay, I'm going to propose a match. I can't make matches, but I'm going to propose this match, which essentially means it's going to happen. Elias versus Corbin at WrestleMania. I know there's 2 days. I know there's lots and lots of time to fill. That's obvious. But Elias versus Corbin at WrestleMania, it's the showcase of the Immortals. It's the biggest nights of wrestling of the year. It doesn't reek of WrestleMania match to me, but it could be alright, couldn't it? It could be alright. I'm not too excited. It hasn't been made official, as I say, but expect for that to be made official over the coming days on social media. Maybe next week on SmackDown, but I think they'll probably get to it sooner rather than later. And also another match teased for WrestleMania. Following a tag win, Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak beating Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro last night. In a backstage promo, Bryan confronts Sami Zayn, the current Intercontinental Champion, and he's like, I want a match for the IC title. Sami says no, but he can have the match if he can beat Shinsuke Nakamura next week. So, I think that's pretty exciting. Like, if we get the singles match, if we get Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn, that could be a barn burner. Obviously, 2 incredibly talented guys. But you think about the people who are surrounding those guys in this match. Could we have a 5-pack challenge here? Like, Cesaro, Nakamura involved, Gulak involved, all 5 of those guys. It's just 5 guys who have, maybe not in the case of Bryan, but 4 guys then who have been tremendously underutilized by WWE. It would be really interesting to see them go at it in a multi-man. I'm all for that. Sure, there's not been an amazing build to it, but you've got to be a bit forgiving given the circumstances surrounding this year's WrestleMania. So I'm going to quickly run through the updated, confirmed WWE WrestleMania card. We've got Lesnar versus McIntyre. If Lesnar can get in the country, He's over in Saskatchewan, we're led to believe at the moment. Travel restrictions may prevent him from being there. Who knows? We'll keep you updated on that. We've got NXT title on the line, the women's title, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, of course. We've got AJ Styles versus The Undertaker. We've got Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. We've got Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. They closed the show on last night's SmackDown. Check out Graded in a couple of hours to hear what I think about that. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. Once again, that six-pack challenge for the SmackDown women's title. Bayley, Lacey, Dana, Tamina, Naomi, and Sasha Banks. And it hasn't been made official yet, but it's as good as done. Baron Corbin versus Elias. 2 days. We still don't know how we're going to do reactions for this, by the way. No idea what we're going to do. We're going to make this work. We are going to make this work. Next up, brand new AEW superstar Matt Hardy appeared on this week's Talk is Jericho. He talked about his time in WWE over various stints. He talked about coming over to AEW. He's very, very excited to be there. A few really interesting notes, a few interesting takeaways from Matt's appearance on Talk is Jericho. One of which is him saying that WWE sucks the fun out of wrestling. Now, Matt Hardy is a guy who was very open about the fact that he wanted some sort of creative, maybe control's too strong a word, but he wanted creative assurances. Assurances made to what he would be able to do on WWE TV over the coming months and years, and obviously those assurances weren't offered to him. So he talked about WWE sucking the fun out of wrestling, saying they tried very hard to sign me. They have offered me very good money, but I know my role would have been minimised. Of course, Matt Hardy sparingly used on WWE TV, especially while Jeff was away injured. It was very rare to see him there, and then he just started getting... He was having jobber matches, essentially. He was just getting beaten by people, and then the Randy stuff happened. It was a real shame. Anyway, for me, more important than money right now, I like to totally utilise my creativity. In the last 3 or 4 years, I have to do this. I want to enjoy it. So I guess that's Matt saying how long he expects to be doing this for. We don't have details of his AEW contract, but there you go. 3 or 4 years is what he thinks he's got left, which sounds realistic. The guy can still go. The guy still has so much to offer. I could bleat on about that for ages, so I won't. But it's really, really exciting to see him pop up in AEW. He continues, I want to be creative and I want to have fun. In WWE, a lot of times they suck the fun out of it because it's become a business and you become a cog in the machine. I guess it's very, very easy to get lost in a roster of about 4,000 people. Another interesting takeaway from this, he was talking about his time in WWE in 2010 he's talking about here. This isn't a recent thing, but back in 2010. And saying that WWE's doctors at the time did not take his injuries seriously. He said, whenever I asked somebody about my injuries and being hurt, I ended up being prescribed pills from doctors at the point, and then that was it. That was my downfall at that time. And then it got to the point where dealing with the stress of the WWE job, I was almost like, well, damn, I'll take a couple more, and then I don't feel the stress as much. Talking about the addiction of prescription pills there, which obviously led Matt to go away for a little bit. He's looking, better than he has done in, 5-6 years? He looks fantastic right now. I can't wait to see what he does in AEW. There's a lot of people saying that, hey, maybe his debut, along with Brody Lee, of course, who popped up on this week's Dynamite, their debuts were hampered a little bit by the fact that there was no audience. But actually, I think it was kind of sensible on on AEW's part, knowing that WWE were producing an NXT show with not that much on it at all. AEW throwing everything at this week's Dynamite, even without the audience. A lot of eyes on that product, and the ratings reflecting that. NXT halving almost what AEW did. AEW doing significantly more numbers, which is to be expected given the quality of each show. Knowing that NXT wasn't going to be doing that much, AEW trouncing them this week. But you can give them a bit of leeway, I guess, because of the circumstances once again. Welcome to AEW, Matt. Really, really excited. It's been confirmed now that Blood and Guts isn't going to happen. They're going to hold off on that for a few weeks. So we will continue to see AEW Dynamite take place on closed sets for the time being, along with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Next up, Braun Strowman has fired off on social media. This follows Evil Uno of the Dark Order, AEW star, writing on social media earlier in the week. In the wake of all these cancellations, support the independents, be it wrestling, music, etc. Buy their merch, support them through Patreon, share their stuff. The gig economy is going to take a huge hit, and many don't have the safety net necessary to survive this. Braun Strowman took it upon himself, the voice of reason, to reply to this. He's since deleted these, but they've been screenshotted, so we know what they said. And he says, "Here we go with more of the somebody pay for my bills stuff. If you can't afford to pay your bills, maybe you should change professions. That's why I quit Strongman. I loved it, but I couldn't afford to live. So instead of making a GoFundMe or Patreon, he quit, basically. And for anyone that goes to say it's easy, to say you're a WWE superstar, and for your information, 7 years ago I moved to Florida with everything I owned in a Kia with $150 to my name when I started this, trying to basically push home the idea that he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth, he had to make it work. To me, I think this is really poorly timed and a stupid thing to say. So many people are struggling, and for Braun Strowman, a man who is now a millionaire, I'm not saying he didn't have to work to get there. I mean, he's a big lad. He certainly had it easier getting signed by WWE than others may do. I think this is really foolish. People are really struggling. So I'll just repeat what Evil Uno said there and tell you that, yeah, go and support the indies. Go and subscribe to Patrons, buy merch, do all of that. Don't listen to Braun Strowman. He's being a knobend. And finally, which WWE superstar is getting their old theme music back? Is it Kofi Kingston? SOS! I hear them shout. It's not Kofi Kingston. Is it Randy Orton? Hey, nothing you can say. It's not Randy Orton. It's only bloody brother Nero. Jeff Hardy is getting no more words back. You know that, can you hear the writing on the wall? That one. He's getting that theme music back. He confirmed this himself on this week's The Bump, in case you missed it, which you may have done. It's a great show. It's a great show. You should be tuning in each and every week. Jeff Hardy confirming himself that music is going to make a return. Obviously, a few character changes. Jeff Hardy just recently coming back. The twist of fate is now the twist of fury. It's not Matt's fault. And now he's got his old theme music back. It'll be interesting to see what Jeff does in the coming months. I don't see him having a match at WrestleMania. That said, with 2 days of WrestleMania, he could do, couldn't he? You could throw him in the IC scramble, do another 6-pack challenge or something. I'd like to see him do something, but he's come back very close to WrestleMania, so don't expect to see him on the card. But yeah, 2 days to fill, so who knows? We're gonna finish off this news video. Basically, one thing that we've got here is a platform, and screw Braun Strowman, and gonna use the final 30 seconds of this news video to give a bit of promotion to a random indie wrestler, an indie promotion, a match that you might want to watch, which is available for free on YouTube. I'm going to try and do that every time that we do a news video. And I'm going to start with North Wrestling, which is the local promotion. I hope Jack hasn't already done this. If not, double promotion, you're welcome. North Wrestling is a local promotion here, which has really filled the gap that I think Defiant left when it closed, WCPW. They were running at the same time as well, but they've created such an amazing sense of community spirit. They're really great indie shows. There's a full show going online, I think, for free very soon on their YouTube channel, so search North Wrestling and check that out. But they've also got an on-demand service, which I would thoroughly recommend. It's certainly the best wrestling that you can see in the Northeast, the country as a whole as well. They're great. They're doing brilliant things. They've just had to cancel a load of their shows because of the pandemic. And so go and give them your support because they're brilliant. And the bloke who runs it is a bloody nice bloke. Thanks very much for tuning in. SmackDown Graded will be with you in the next few hours. See you in a bit.